Welcome to the Sim Racing Alliance. We are here with Season 10 and Round 1. Boogity, let's go racing. That's the green flag jobs.
Looking maybe even full wide.
They're fanning out. There's a bit of contact. He's got the outside.
Side hide. That's a great move.
He's got plenty of speed in there. He's being held up.
He's gonna have a better run. Yeah, it's gonna stick it on the outside.
Well, that's a late move. 296 Ferrari though finds the space.
Oh, he didn't have it.
We're on the way for SRA.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome back to SRA. Tonight we have an exciting race for Division 3 Round 2 at Imola with corners like Tamburello, the Variante Alta, and the Rivazza quarters. I mean, they're infamous quarters and famed in this hollow track. It's going to be an exciting one, I think, once we get going here. Tonight we have myself, Landon, Steph, and Arjun in the booth tonight. Looking forward to this one, guys. What are you guys looking forward to?
I don't know. I think I'm looking forward to your energy and excitement at the moment. You're you sound like you're really rare for this one.
Imola is a great track. We see a lot of action, a lot of carnage from what you've seen yesterday, but hopefully a lot of overtakes because of the long start-finish straight.
Yeah, I mean the track it's known for promoting some really great racing. I mean, home to the longest F1 race name in history, probably. Don't even bother repeating it; it would take all night. But I mean, in that race there wasn't a lot of passing in F1, but these GT3 cars are so closely matched, especially some that have the power advantage down the front stretch. You can get right on beside someone through the first chicane there, turn 1, and I mean, we were seeing battles all night last night. I expect nothing less from D3, who has previously put on a show for us, you know, as they always do. Last week at Barcelona was no different. Speaking of, why don't we run through the standings from that are essentially just the results of last week's race. So David Funk coming out as our winner overall and in the gold division, with Rodriguez there closely behind in P3. He was quick all race, especially for a silver driver, but Velasquez not too far behind him in the silver division. Obviously these are still early days in the championship, so it's still all to play for. Some big names that we saw previously in D3, or some that got moved up from D4, they're a bit further back. I'm looking at Neil Sutherland, Pat Cockcroft, he's pretty quick, and Justin McKechnie, who graciously pronounced his name phonetically for the championship. Thank you, Justin. I promise I practiced that one. We'll get it right. And then some other notables as we move on to the second page here. Had some troubles in Barcelona, and that's okay. Like Chris Sweeney there and the Ferrari. My favorite, Panza Rigatoni, he's up there, looking to make some moves in the Mustang. Anyone you guys got your eye on?
Well, I'm a big fan of Panzo, just as a great guy. But there's a lot of good people here. I mean, Andrew Rafe was really fast last season, and I know he really wants a division win, so he may have actually sweated it out this week, so he's ready for it. Not sure, Arjun, you had something you wanted to say.
Green light. Go.
If anything from yesterday told me anything, one pack of drivers to look out for are probably the McLaren drivers, because McLaren was strong in the higher divisions yesterday, and I think we could see the same thing being replicated today, and same with the Mustang as well.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. Those McLarens are pretty dominant. And looking at the team standings, our first McLaren we see up there is the Fugazi Motorsports with Nate Andrew and Bill Cranston. They were fast at Barcelona, and this week with the BOP applied, they're still pretty quick. One thing to note, it was true that the BOP was not applied for Barcelona, so we saw a bit of a bias towards those OP cars and the Mustangs and the Ferraris. But this week, the custom BOP that SRA is known for is back on, and it's anyone's game now. But looking at the team series, the Sith Lords there in the Porsche, love to see it up there at the top, putting in some solid results between the two of those.
I'm a fan of Porsche teams, so
No bias. Yeah.
Any...
Couldn't agree more.
I'll also have a soft spot for the Mustang because who isn't a fan of the Mustang?
Yeah, it's the new car on track tonight, but it's this season, right? But it's quick. It's still sort of an unknown variable when we get to some of these tracks further on in the season. These drivers are just going to get more and more used to it, and by the end of it, it'll be a contest and see how far up they can go. So move on to the track map as these drivers are getting out for their hot laps and qualifying. Turn 1, it's not much of a turn, it's more of a kink, and in these cars you can take it flat out, of course. But that'll take you into the first chicane, turn 2 and 3, that's Variante Tamburella. Then you have turn 5 and 6 in the Villeneuve chicane. Pretty much these corners, a lot of them are chicanes, so it's going to be about tackling the curbs and making sure you get a great exit onto the longer stretch. The Sector 2, turn 7, 8, 9 complex, it's all uphill. You have to spot your braking point perfectly, clip the curb on the inside for turn 9. As you go back down a hill for turn 11 into Aqua Minerale, it's a super technical sector of the track. There's really only one lane to go through. And if you're not careful, the curves will bite you. Easy to pick up a track cut around there. The last chicane there, turn 14, 15, that's Variante Alta. Pretty much is monstering over curbs. It's the fastest way around them, but they can kick you sideways if you're not careful. Those cars like the BMW, the Mustang, and the Astons, they have a clear advantage through that sector. Turn 17, 18, sort of Monza-esque in the Lesmos, but these they're called the Ravazzas here at Imola. Turn 18, obviously crucial to make sure you get a good run down the front stretch again. Turn 19, not really a corner, but that'll take you a full lap around Imola. Let's hop into qualifying and see what we could see.
One thing that I like about Imola compared to the other tracks is that there's not a lot of corners which are standalone corners. Most of them are in complexes and they lead from one to another. So one of the most important things on this track is momentum. Back and serving momentum from corner to corner.
Yeah, absolutely. These drivers, they're just on their first hot lap. The weather, it's kind of hot out there. I was seeing ambient temperatures around 27 degrees during our qualifying sessions. It's going to be crucial to make sure you can get these tires up to temperature to get your hot lap in. But if you warm up too much in the first couple of laps, there's going to be nothing left by the end of your 10-minute stint here for qualifying. See the BMW monsters over the curve, just like I said. That's one of those cars where that's going to be its spot to gain some time. If you can nail it, you can easily gain a 10th or so against the cars ahead of you. I was in the Porsche last night, and they did not like those. Not one bit. I got a little bit sideways through most of every time.
Yeah, the Porsche is not great. Most of the front engine cars are gonna be good over the curbs. Especially the Mustang, and I don't know if you have Mercedes here in D3, but they're also great. The Aston Martins and BMWs are also good over the curbs. And getting over the curbs is gonna be super important because it allows you to shorten the jump as much as possible. Especially for Variante Alta, which is if you're not going to be taking the chicanes, you're going to be turning more and just going to use so much time. It's all about just monstering the chicanes. That's what every driver is going to be trying to do, even if they're in a car which can't take the chicanes.
Yeah, exactly. These first laps are coming in. We see, honestly, a surprise, the Lexus up there. Now with the BOP, looking quick there, Colton. I mean, he's gapped the field right now by almost 2/10.
Oh yeah, the Lexus is going to be one of the cars to watch for this race, especially with the straight line speed down the start-finish straight. If he gets a good exit, he's going to gain positions left, right, and center.
Yeah, no joke. Speaking though, there's a McLaren. We knew they were going to be quick, and there he is, Vasquez, going straight up to the provisional pole. Not a bad time at all.
42-1 is on an optimum track. There's definitely room for improvement for the silver drivers. I think we can definitely see a lot of 41s in here.
41s? Yeah, that's my quality pace. 41s would be super fast. I could see it though. I mean, we were seeing in the hot laps for people in the gold division actually. It was Riviera with the 40.9. So just eclipsed the 41s altogether. Went straight to a 40.9. That's quick. We'll see it in just a little bit if he can eclipse that once again here when it matters most in qualifying session. But Velasquez, he's the silver driver. He had a 40.0, so it's not out of the question to see a 41 here in the quali stint.
As you're speaking, Eduardo Rodriguez goes on provisional pole with what was pretty much a 42 dead at this point, and he is not improving right now, but he still has time to do another lap.
Oh yeah, plenty of time out there.
And speaking of 41s, there we are. There you have it.
Velasquez living up to the hype. 41.7 off the rip, 3/10 ahead of Rodriguez there in P2. That's a blistering lap around here, but they're still warming up their tires. It's still all to play for. I just like watching these BMWs run through these corners. They're just monstering over the curbs. They just don't even care. The tires can take it. The suspension eats up all the curbs. It's insane.
As you see Justin just monster the curbs over there.
It's wild.
That's a lot of curbs. I'd be surprised if he didn't get a track warrant if he didn't invalidate his lap for that.
Well, that's another thing to note around here too. The track limits around Imola are brutal. It's easy enough to pick one around, just go a little bit wide. The sand traps do a really good job of keeping within the track, but a lot of the times on those curbs, it's the red line around the track that denotes the track limits, and it's easy enough just to put one tire just an inch or so too far, and that'll pick you up. In the race, a warning, but in here, just an invalid lap. Only 12 and a half minutes to go in the session altogether. That's 2.5 minutes for these silver drivers. There's not a whole lot of opportunities left. If you go and invalidate right now, you probably only have one more lap.
I see Donald Colton takes provisional pole in silvers with a monstrous 41.5. The Lexus is good over the curbs, so we can definitely see a lot of good pace from the Lexus pair.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Definitely a car that has some good straight line speed.
I just noticed we're seeing some more carbon cars. I synced liveries about 10 minutes ago. So some of these drivers need to get their liveries all done up. We want to see them in their proud liveries,
Sounds like I need to go on a livery hunt this week for
first candidate, Mr. Andrew. Get him.
Absolutely. Make a little checklist, and I'll chase them down this week and
That's right.
see what we can do with that.
Who else are we seeing out on laps? It's getting pretty down to the wire here with only a minute left to go in this session. There's some drivers improving. I'm looking at Robbie Toddy here in the Porsche. Looking good out there, but he's got some traffic ahead of him. He's up 6/10. Being very cautious around the curbs, but that's what you need to do around in that car. It just does not like the curbs of Variante Alta. Let's go on board with him and see how he navigates his final two corners. Just as your car gets straight around that corner is when you get on the brakes. He opts to go over the curbs, just braking a little bit past that change in asphalt color. He's still on for a good lap here. He's P20 at the moment as he comes across the line. He's going to have one more attempt. That'll move him up to P18 though.
Bosley in chat is asking, what's the pole time for D1 yesterday? It was a 40.182 set by Mia Rose.
That's absurd. Yeah. I had no shot. I mean, my time was a 41.1, so you know, being eclipsed by the someone in the same division by a full second, that'll humble you a bit. But that's okay. Mia was on a flyer last night, and she got that win, much deserved. Putting up a battle there for Menning. Colton actually dives into the pits. He's gonna take his P1 provisional, but I don't know if he's got what it takes. I think Velasquez down there in P2, he's up 4/10 right now on his final lap. Let's see how he navigates this last chicane. McLaren taking a bit more curb than I'd be wanting to take. He manages to keep it within track limits. He loses a bit of time though. It's only 2/10 up now.
But 2/10 will get him up into provisional pole.
Should be good enough.
Just not a lot of cushion.
This is exciting as he comes through the final corner, turn 19. He clips that curbing just perfectly, that sort of green patch of concrete. He sticks to the inside line of the pit wall, and it's good enough for P1. Velasquez snabs pole position in the silver division from Colton and the Lexus by 2/10 there at the very last lap. He's got to feel pretty good about that one.
And a 41.3.
That's cooking. That was good enough for P20 in the gold division, or P20 in D1. That's insane.
Wow.
Yes, the fastest sector 2 and 3.
Not bad at all.
Now we see the gold drivers out on the track now to set their flyers. I'm interested to see if silver is this fast. I wonder what we're gonna see being done by the gold drivers.
Yeah.
I mean, so sort of alluding to what could happen here. Riviera, who was our P1 for the silver, Velasquez, who was our P1 for the silver division, he was second in the time trial practice servers with a 40.0. So not quite meeting his best, but it was good enough for silver division pole. Riviera here, who we got on the screen now, he was the gold leader in the time trials with the 40.9. I said before. So I'm thinking we're looking at our, so far it's consistent with the practice. They put in the time during the week and it's paying off here in the race so far. We'll see if Riviera can live up to the hype as well.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at this point if you see 40s being done by the gold drivers.
Yeah.
That's cooking around here. That's insane.
And especially in Imola, where it's so easy to overextend for advantage and just go wide in Pertella or the exit of Variante Alta. It's all about being confident in your ability to keep the car within the track limits, or just absolutely sending it.
Absolutely, it's definitely a rhythm track. That always comes with practice, right? Some of these drivers are sweating it out, putting in 100 or so laps, probably even more for some of these top drivers in this division in practice. As we see Riviera, he sets his first lap, 7/10 down, but it's just his first lap. There's more time in it. It's still a pretty solid effort in just the banker lap.
Most of these gold drivers are already improving on their lap times, which makes sense because the first hot lap is kind of a valid. While it is valid, it's more of a second out lap just to get the tires up into the window.
Yeah. I guess it looks like Logain is the top of the gold drivers right now with a 42.26.
That's pretty quick for his banker lap, but in the BMW, getting right up to speed.
Meanwhile, Blasini Riviera is he's 7/10 on his personal best.
We see him right there in the back of this shot here. We'll pick him up as he comes to the final 2 corners. Gets a bit on the outside curbing there. Manages to keep it within track and out of the sand pit. He still has time and actually gained even more time. Let's see what happens. He comes across the stripe now, and yep, as expected, straight to P1. Provisional pole for Riviere with the 41.5. Not bad at all.
And next, while also putting the Mustang in P3 with another blistering lap.
Just look at that Mustang. Eats the curbs like they're nothing. The tires are going crazy, but behind the wheel, it's just like they weren't even there. It's amazing. It looks pretty stable out there. He's got it dialed in.
Agreed. Once you get this car dialed in, especially when you get on power, it is absolutely rapid.
Yeah, clearly, as we can see, he's already up to P4. He's up just about a 10th so far into Sector 1. That's just about as wide as you want to go. That red line's your track limits.
And he does seem to be catching the Porsche in front of him. Oh, never mind, the Porsche gets out of the way.
Yeah, it's respectful driving from the Porsche there. It's going to invalidate his lap, obviously, but it makes a bit more space for the drivers behind.
And speaking of going faster, Blessing Riviera's 3/10 on his personal best.
No way. Are we going to catch him at the end of this lap here, too? Is he still up? He is.
There you go, 41.3.
And he's going to call it. There were just about 3 minutes to go. I don't think there's enough time to go back out for tires, but it's not bad at all.
I think you'll get two. Actually, you'll get one valid lap in. But you might not see any 40s being done unless someone in the back or even like in the middle of the field is cooking a stinker of a lap. DJ Watts is he's a quarter of a second up on his PB, or actually now he's half a second up on his PB.
Arjun, we're gonna let you do the talking while we sort some technical things
There's
out
DJ
over here in the
Watts.
back.
Yeah, we found him. He's P7
There we
now in
go.
the Bentley. Not bad.
You just keep things running over there for a minute. We're gonna fix a few things over here. If we're getting quiet, we're just... That's all.
Gotcha. And where does it put him? It puts him in E6.
Not bad. Moves him up one position.
Especially for cars old as the Bentley, even with the Bob, it is still a handful to get extract time with. And P6 is a great lap from him.
Oh wait.
Perfect. I think we're dialed in now. Let's go. All right, with just under a minute left in qualifying, who we have? We have Goriel. They're P10 right now, just starting off their lap. Doesn't quite hit the apex there. Goes a bit wide. The BMW can take a bit more curbing than that, but it's a safe route. They're 2/10 up so far. That'll move them up a position or two.
Looks like Rivera's out there seeing if he can shave some time off of that provisional pole.
Oh my
there.
goodness. Could you imagine? He goes out for one flying hot lap at the end here. Fresh tires, low fuel.
Yeah.
See how this McLaren takes these corners. Oh, eats the curves.
Oh.
Yeah, that can happen.
Yep.
He'll go off into the kitty litter, and that'll just about do it for his session.
Doesn't look like anybody's going to match it though, so he might be safe. You never know.
We never
Oriel's
know.
really trying. He's 4/10 up now.
And so is Byron.
Ian Byron, he was our P2 finisher from Barcelona. He's looking pretty quick out here tonight too. David Funk, I'll grab him. He was our winner last week. He's actually up on his PB now by a 10th in the last 2 corners. This is when you're gonna, when you want a good result, this is when it's gonna be a good lap. He gets a bit loose though through this last corner there, and he's gonna call it. That's his session there. Let's see, he'll pick up Byron here. He's up 7/10. If he could just eke out a bit more time here, he's up 8/10. No way.
Right.
The exact same
P2
time as Riviera.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. With a 41.307, Byron and Riviera are tied for first, but obviously Riviera puts the lap in first, so he's gonna get the pole position. But I mean, that is as close as it gets. Unbelievable time from Byron at the last minute there. Watching Panzer Rigatoni, our final qualifier. He goes across the line. P31. Still not a bad
It's
showing.
interesting because Byron's got the fastest sector 1 and Riviera has the fastest sector 3. So not sure what that's gonna say about what unfolds next.
That's the sector 1. That's probably because of the straight line speed as you get a good start on the straight.
Maybe.
So yeah, I was gonna take a round and take a look at our grid now. The McLaren obviously really fast around here and looking strong. Riviera looking for good things from him. So check out some of these liveries. Some good looking ones at Lexus. I'm a big fan of that one. And there's our Bentley. I like to see a Bentley out here. That's not bad at all.
You're 4 and 8 on the grid, fighting against the 296s.
Nice.
Gotta be different.
Yeah, well, some people will say it's the real Ferrari, and the 296 is just an imitation. So
The loyal few out there. Love to see
And
it.
we have the Dumb and Dumber liveries, which are my favorite from D3. But no bias, not because I made them or anything.
Oh,
but,
no, is
I
that
think they're
right?
best livery.
It's a good looking livery out there for Marvin Mutz. I like it. Obviously an homage to the Dumb and Dumber car. Not bad at all.
Yep.
The ever bright Ghost Rider Racing Sour Patch Kids livery looking good out there. There's a McLaren
yeah,
down
the
the list.
interesting been on the movie night thing, going for the refreshments and snacks instead of actual movies.
Yeah, a little bit of a twist on it.
It's all part of it's the whole experience.
Yep. But it's interesting that somebody thought to look at it from that angle. So some extra kudos there.
You also got camera brand cars and Netflix and Hulu in D1.
Yeah. They took the I will say the prompt a bit loose there and did their own way, but I like to see the creativity around here. That's what the themes are all about, spice up the grid a little bit.
Well, I gotta admit, Netflix and Hulu, that's probably more my movie night than actually going to the movies.
Not a bad idea. I was going to show off Imola. It's an infamous track with a lot of history. Some of the history Kunos actually modeled with some of these landmarks at the track. So all these drivers are getting ready, getting set up here for their race. There's a livery there of Senna and his cart and his infamous helmet. Kind of crazy that Kunos went to all the effort to model something like that. As we go through here, this is obviously turn 1. They remodeled it in the 90s after the infamous Senna wreck. But even here in ACC, that unfortunate accident was sort of immortalized here with a bit of a memorial site here with some Brazilian flags, obviously, for the Brazilian driver. A bit further down, they have the actual Senna memorial, the statue. Oh, we're going a bit crazy here. Try that again.
Cars are moving.
Yeah, the car started moving. I'll speed it up here then. Right there, a cool little memorial though. I think Kunos did a pretty good job at this one. It's hard to model, 3D model something as intricate as a memorial statue like that, but it looks pretty good. And there's what?
Just the fact they put the effort in,
Right. I mean, obviously, doing good things. Modeling, putting in the effort, doing the track justice. There's another one here for Jacques Villeneuve, another famous F1 driver. Canadian, I would presume, based off of that memorial there.
Yes.
Yes.
For the Villeneuve chicane. So shout out to all the Canadians there.
There's a lot of Easter eggs in Imola. There's also a statue for the late Enzo and Dino Ferrari
Oh, is that
in
right?
the entrance to the track.
Wow.
Because this track was scanned during COVID, because it's the 2020 DLC pack, people in the paddock are wearing face masks,
No
which is
way.
an interesting touch.
Yeah.
You see a tribute for Roland Ratzenberger,
Yeah.
who unfortunately lost his life in the Villeneuve chicane, or before it became a chicane, the Villeneuve corner.
These drivers are still getting single file. Oh, that's the wrong button. There we go, back to the cars. But yeah, so just a couple landmarks around Imola. I thought it was pretty cool, and I was digging around with the cinematic cameras. Looking pretty good out there, and the fact that Kunos went through all the effort to add this track into the game and do it justice with the drivers out there. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, watching GT racing on this track is super fun, especially seeing the stewards getting angry at everyone knocking the ballers off Variante Alta. Just constant yellows just to put the baller back.
Right? These drivers now actually at the final corner. It's a really long run up here to the start finish line. So they're 2x2 now, but some of these drivers in the very back, they're still getting all lined up. I'll take the point here up front. If the pip wants to watch more of the action behind, it can get very hectic as you go through turn 1 and turn 2 chicanes. It's always something exciting to watch around here.
Exactly. And the pip might need a little prodding once in a while, because the pip has had it in its brain to not really do anything. So I'll go back to midfield-ish.
Yeah.
See what happens back here.
Here we go. The drivers are all lined up 2x2 now, and it's green flag. We're off and away for SRA. McLaren gets a decent start. A bit of wheels from the Ford Mustangs on the bit of the back foot. Further back, it's 3 wide carnage. We see a
my word.
That's an incident.
Oh.
That kind of event can happen around here as everything gets funneled into that first chicane. It looks like everyone mostly keeps it pointed the right direction, though. Some big losers, though, on that, losing a few spots at the beginning. Is up front, everything's pretty much remained single file. See a bit of battling here towards the top 10 area.
The dust getting kicked up because it is a traction zone there.
Yeah, everyone
Somebody
finding their spot. As we see someone finding their spot off into the gravel, that's not the proper way around the track.
That's not the spot you want to find.
The pit is now open.
As we go into Variante Alta, is anyone going to go too wide here?
They'd be smart to keep it as they were. No one's too optimistic thus far. It's probably the right move. We still see a pretty solid train going through the track on the track map there. It's what you want to see.
Oh, Neil Sutherland and McCartney went too wide into Variante Alta,
no.
and they lived.
We saw Byron go wide on the second to last corner. I don't know if he had any bit of help there, but he's off into the gravel and he's still trying to get back on track. That is not what you want to see at all. He was our P2, tied for the pole, and now he's all the way back down to P10.
A lot of lost momentum there.
Yeah. It's like a lot of stuff is tight still.
And Lassini Riviera extended his gap to 2.5 seconds over the course of one lap. As Yarn goes wide.
Yeah. Everyone's getting a bit of the grass there. Yarn losing a ton of spots. He'll go down to P20th.
Yeah, rejoining in that part of the track is super sketchy because, especially with a lot of cars being driven proactively instead of reactively, it's going to be difficult to dodge cars coming across the track. So Yarn did a good job making his rejoin as safe as possible for the other drivers there.
And we're starting to see some of the characteristics of this infamous circuit come out. Once you're once you're sort of line and stern, not side by side, it's hard to really get a move done. You have to rely on the car in front of you to make a mistake. As we see that BMW get a bit wide through Aqua Minerale, that's going to give the inside line to the Aston Martin. Aston Martin monster of the curb. That's a track cut if he's not careful. BMW's also over the curbs. That'll send him to the outside. They nearly hit each other. It's going to give the Aston Martin and McKechnie the position, but unbelievably close racing there going into that chicane.
These two went too wide in the same corner on the opening lap, and they did it again with just reversing positions. But that was a great move from McKechnie.
Saw the opportunity and took it. Yeah, it's really well done. DJ Watts looking to the inside here of turn 1 of the Mustang. A bit early on the brakes. Mustang's going to keep that position. It's a defensive move from the Mustang. A bit of a passive move from the Bentley, though. Done well, though. It's only 56 minutes left to go, right? There's don't need to go for that move off the rip. As we see them both get sideways out of that turn 6. A little bit in the sand trap. That's not the right way around the track, but it's not going to hurt them too bad. They'll still keep the positions. They're too wide through Tosa.
As you look into the PIP with Jackson Sullivan and Pat Crocroft going too wide at the exit of Tosa.
Yeah, there's a lot of tight little packs still in this race thus far. You've got 3 through 9, 8, 11 to 13. It's pretty tight.
I don't know how some of these drivers are staying so closely behind the driver in front of them. With Imola, it's got grass on each end. It's so hard to spot your braking zone. And on a good day, much less when you're 1/10 behind the car in front of you. You have to rely on them making the perfect move and kind of just go based off of what they do. So we see all sorts of chaos happening up ahead. It looks like the Porsche was a bit wide. Maxwell.
Maxwell ran into Rife, and Ford's got caught wide going into the final corner and loses positions.
That'll happen.
Byron decided to pit early, get that out of the way, so we'll see how that works out for him.
Andrew Rife is in the gravel trap as he's driving for the gravel trap inspection crew, doing his due diligence with inspecting gravel traps.
He does well to get it back on track, though. Doesn't lose too many positions, but he's going to want that one back. There was all sorts of chaos back there.
Absolutely. It's just...
What is that?
Everybody's so tight.
That was Milton, I think. Just getting back up to speed. Let's see if we can't grab that. I think it was a battle up ahead. The Porsches. The Mustang got into a bit of a accident. Oh, and he just sympathy spins. Oh, you hate to see it. Gonna lose a ton of spots there. That turn 1 chicane's tricky enough when you have cars all backwards in front of you. It's hard to, spot your landmarks and spot your reference points.
Yeah, for some cars, it's a patch of grass on the side of the track as a braking reference.
Which is all fine and well for now, but this race started at 6 p.m. We're going to just barely dip into sunset, the shadows are going to start getting pretty long, and your reference points are going to go out the window, especially through Sector 1. I mean, one cool thing about Imola is there's trees all over the place. It makes for a pretty backdrop, and you know, the track, it looks really good, but as far as the racing is concerned, it's yeah, it's tough when you get the shadows all interfering with your reference markers.
Like Logan and Andrew are battling it out quite a bit here in the middle.
They're side by side. That's tricky to do. As we see a bit of contact, they both go wide. That'll open the door for the Ferrari behind them.
As they continue to go too wide into also with Logan actually going side by side with, I think, just I'm just trying to see what this thing is.
Looks like that's
It's like Sullivan.
Sullivan, yeah.
right.
Yep. Yeah, they're still real bunched up.
A second, try to capitalize on Sullivan Logan going too wide and just misses out with Sullivan just shutting the door going into a complete.
Looking up ahead, looks like Schwartz is looking at Mr. McHeckney.
Making it abundantly clear how to pronounce his name. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. He said, we are never going to get it wrong again.
Not a chance. These battles are starting to thinning out a little bit. You know, the field's starting to spread out. We're not seeing pit stops just yet, obviously, with the strategy. That Lexus gets a bit blinky behind. But with a strategy where you have to pit pretty much at halfway, these battles are going to stay pretty tight here until the pit cycle starts.
Justin second pulls across the track at the start straight to a stop. I do not know what's happened to him as he RTGs and returns to the garage.
Oh no.
Oh no.
See if, yeah, he just pulled off to the left there. I guess he had enough. Maybe some technical issue, some hardware error. That's not what you want to see.
No.
Yeah, he did have a decent race going on. He was making position.
I mean, it's got to be tricky to be that Mustang to try to follow the Lexus in front of him that's kind of blinking, you know, having some connection issues. Your reference Parker is the car in front sometimes, and when that car is all over the place, you know, sometimes there, sometimes not, it's hard to keep it on the track behind. Mustang's doing a pretty good job there, Suave.
I love that we have a Lexus, a Mustang, and a Bentley in one frame.
Well, that's the
They're all
story of
battling the
SRA,
top
right? Yeah, there's all manners of chaos, but any car's got the opportunity to do well here, especially in D3.
And that's the point of the BOP, is to try to open it up so that, you know, make a lot of the other models more viable. You don't have one like super good car and others that are okay or only good at one or two tracks. Kind of even the field a little bit.
Yeah.
As best we can.
Right. There's always that classifier. If we meant to, or if we promote close racing, it was an accident kind of thing. if it happens, it happens. But it does mean it's a bit more viable to use some of the lesser OP cars. You know, some other division we see the GTR. So you see the Lexus, one of those other cars, is using the BOP to in full effect. Actually goes a bit wide there. That'll give the position to Suave and the Mustang, moving up to the top 5. The silver driver, you know, duking it out with the best of them here at D3. He's 8th position right now in that good-looking flame Ferrari. Gets a bit wide behind the Bentley there, though. He's not going to have a great run as he gets into the kitty litter on the outside there, turn 18, Ravazza. That's going to set him up for the BMW behind to get a decent run. He's already up alongside him before they even get anywhere near the start-finish straight.
as the BMW backs out.
It's a smart move this early on in the race, but I thought he had that one. I mean, that's about as on of a move as you're going to get. The BMW's got all the top speed in the world, especially against a Ferrari. He's just setting himself up to see what he's got to do it again when he gets another chance at it. You see some too wide action there going on.
Sometimes just sitting back behind the driver, just putting the pressure it's enough to force a mistake from them and just gain in place.
Oh man, Logain battling Beck there.
Yep, and Logain touches the dirt.
Super unfortunate. That was 2x2 going through the Villeneuve chicane though. It's tough to do. Gets the worst of it there. It ends up in the Kitty Lewis' time positions.
As you see Justin McKechnie in the pits, is that a scheduled stop? Was that planned, or was that a fixed damage?
It's early. If you're gonna come in and change your tires here at the 15-minute mark, I would say that puts you in for a pretty tough second stint here. We saw some drivers last night try to employ that same strategy with varying levels of success. Towards the end of the stint, when your tires are wearing off, it's hard enough to keep the car on track with good tires, much less with worn out. So, yeah, we'll see. McKechnie, he was on for a good result, but the undercut is pretty strong here. That'll put him out into clean air, hopefully, and with that, he'll look to gain a few positions, at least in the interim.
Imola is kind of this interesting track where the tire degradation is not super high, especially compared to a track like Barcelona, which we did last week. But you're going to be struggling for your grip, especially outside the short straightaways, either because you're turning and putting the power down, or you're bouncing off the curb as you put the foot down. So you'll be struggling for rear end grip despite your tires being in good shape.
Right, it's fast to eat up your tires for sure, but luckily with the tire change, the mandatory tire change, some cars, like the Porsche, ones that are a bit more rear limited towards the end of the stint, gets a nice refresh at the 30-minute mark. Essentially, it turns this into a basically a 60-minute qualifying session. The tires don't really wear out all that much in 30 minutes. I mean, you'll see some fall off, but with half fuel and fresh tires, you're setting quality times typically, or nearabouts quality times. These drivers got to be on point for the full 60 minutes. Oh my gosh!
Watts got by Colton.
That was a heck of a. He got quite the run going out of the last corner there. It's all manners of chaos here as we see 3 wide. Bentley gets the move done on Colton, but back behind him, everyone's making moves.
Crispy backs out. He's getting lapped by this pack here.
Not where I'd want to come out the pits in the middle of a massive train of, if I got a blue flag, that is my nightmare.
Yeah, that hurts.
You're scary as well.
Oh, as we see 3 wide. Ooh, going into the Villeneuve chicane. Oh,
not
man.
Deal.
That was Rife, Sutherland, and I think the other Mustang of Laz going 3 wide. Never going to end off well. It was a bit opportunistic. And I think Rife gets the worst of that as he's following. Oh, he's spun out again. He's got a ton of damage at the front. That's not what you want to see.
Not his race.
He calls it there. Fair enough. I understand that pain for sure. Yep. Rife obviously does a lot for the community as being a commentator with that, iconic voice of his. You want to see someone who puts that much time and effort into the community do well when they get their turn to race. As we see a bit more carnage going on there too.
Riggs in the back just had a little oopsie-doopsie.
Easy to do around Aqua Minerale. He gets pointed back the right direction though.
You're seeing a lot more drivers go into the pit now. I think a lot of drivers are considering a 15-minute followed by a 45-minute stint.
Yeah.
And I would also wonder if the carnage of these first initial laps isn't leading this. There's just so much battling and dinking and off tracks, and some people might be going, hey, I just want some fresh air to chill out for a bit.
Right, and getting an early pit will do that for you.
Okay, the fastest lap time set by the leader of the race, who is in clean air, is a 42.1. And a couple places down behind him in the pack, in where everyone is battling out, you're seeing 42.8. So people who are battling right now are losing a lot. This makes making an undercut a bit more endearing than just stretching out to 30 minutes.
Here in the
big.
pit. Okay, go ahead.
As you see a big car following another big car.
I was curious to see how these two, massive units of vehicles navigate their way through Aqua Minerale. It looked fairly stable. The Bentley, it just sort of had to bide its time behind the Mustang, though. Still gets a decent run. Is right up the back of Suave and the Mustang. Starting to see a bit of a train for him too, though.
Yeah, he's got Colton right behind him, and he's sort of sandwiched in there, 3/10 behind, and then Colton's 3/10 behind him. And those Rodriguez decided to stop in the pits, giving Colton some breathing room from the back.
For the time being, yeah. That's going to, I was curious to see where he's going to pop out. He's one of our first front runners to pop into the pits, get his service done.
If you're gonna keep Colton behind, you should not. You should follow a car and try to get another car's toe, so the Lexus's overwhelming straight line speed doesn't catch up with him instantly. Because the Lexus is ridiculously fast in a straight line, and it's almost comical. It reminds me of games where you build cars for just straight line speed and not the cornering. That's what the Lexus is. It has no arrow, only straight line speed.
Can absolutely bomb it down the front stretch, especially in a toe. I'd be curious to see how fast, he gets up to. We were seeing some, ultra low wing spec McLarens getting well into the 280s. Or sorry, no, 270s. 280s a bit optimistic, but be curious to see what the Lexus can do with minus 40 kilograms in the toe behind the big Bentley, cutting a massive hole in the air.
In qualifying, I clocked Colton doing 269 in the Lexus, which is around 4 kilometers per hour faster than the second car.
That is cooking.
Yeah, I gotta admit, as a Porsche driver, the last thing I want to see in my rearview mirror is a Lexus on the street.
In fact, Colton's speed in the speed trap in the race so far is 273.
Oh.
The second fastest car is 269.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's the Mustang of Fords.
That Lexus is so quick. I mean, he gained up a tenth or so just in the front stretch alone against the Bentley.
Yeah, so once Colton gets behind the car, which does not have tow, it's over for them on the start finish straight.
Yeah, it'll pull right by him. The Bentley's no slouch either. I think as we're just seeing that. That was Colton getting a bit into the sand trap. That's going to open the door for the Porsche, who sticks on the outside. I think just keeps it within track limits. They're still too wide going through Aqua Minerale. No, there they go. They line out. They think better, but Porsche remains back behind Colton. They'll live to fight another day.
And he pushed the Porsche in closer to the BMW, which is also pretty good in the straight line.
Honestly, if I'm one of these drivers now getting kind of stuck behind these trains, now I think the pit window is open. you start to see some of the advantage of the undercut without so much of the the detriment of the worn tires at the end. You could just about survive with still setting some pretty blistering lap times on some 35-minute-old tires, right? I think we are seeing some pitters actually.
Jack Sullivan and Ethan Marvin are in the pits.
There we go.
Sullivan just exited the pits. And he came out behind McKechnie. And I don't remember if McKechnie was ahead of Colton or actually Sullivan.
Yeah, I don't recall either, but obviously it's working for McKechnie. You end up in front.
Yeah, I think the drivers who did it and an undercut are actually going to be ahead, and they're going to get the track position over the cars which have pitted. And Imola isn't a track where it's easy to pass, so I wonder if these drivers are going to use their track position to just hold off the cars behind.
That's the way to do it. You know, that's kind of the whole point of the undercut. You get out in clean air, set your hot laps. Around Imola, it's especially important. And then even on worn tires, you can just stick to your lines, and there shouldn't really be a way around you.
The only problem is that the tire degradation, although it's not much, will affect your rear end grip coming out of important traction zone.
It certainly will, yeah. I mean, the chicanes, it's one of the hallmarks of them. It's all about getting the power down. So you see the Porsche there of Kamal. Yep, he comes into the pits. Gets his service done as the Mustang of short cells is also into the pits.
I'm going to try pronouncing it. Is it Kamal Kachazovic? Kachazovic? Is that how it's supposed to be pronounced?
We went over this.
Kachazovic.
Had to pull back up that tab. Yep, Kachazovic.
There we go.
Yeah, he comes into the pits. See where he pops out. He was right up there near the top 10.
Marvin making a move on Humber.
Up the inside. Sticks it around the outside now of Toza.
That was beautiful. That's a clean overtake.
Yep. A lot of side-by-side on that one.
Not bad at all. Gotta be proud about that one.
Absolutely.
The astronaut to be outdone, though, is right behind him as they both go wide.
That's got to be a warning at least.
You would think. Kachazovic and Schwartz came into the pits together and come out to the pits together right behind each other. They'll come out just in front of the BMW there of Goril. So they're going to be our relative front runners of the pitters so far. Just to take a tab of the leader up front here. Now got an 8-second gap. Riviere putting on an absolute clinic. Hasn't gotten much grid time because the battles behind him have been so fierce. But doing what he needs to do up there. Taking quite a bit of curb in the McLaren. That's a risky maneuver, but obviously it's working for him. He just set a 42.6 with his best lap being a 42.0, so not far off towards the end of the stint.
He's absolutely flying. I think he has the fastest lap of the race by a whole 4 tenths.
That's massive.
It is.
Yeah.
And it helps that second place and third place, who are behind them, are not actually fighting for positions actively, so even they're running in clean air.
Yeah, it's like first, second, third, and then fourth just has DJ Watt behind him. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah, but now that a lot of drivers are pitting, those who haven't pitted now have a lot of breathing room and clean air to work with. So maybe we may see them pushing like hot lap times before they go into the pits. Just to make sure that the overcut works.
Yep, now's the time to do it. Set your fast in laps. So see, Funk, he was our last week's winner. He's P2 now. Just 8 seconds behind the leader there. Curious to see where he's gonna pop out at the end of this cycle here. Actually, we see Cranston, he's off track with the Porsche coming up right behind him. Let's get back, go see if we can't catch it. Oh, he's just already in the tire wall. He's respectful and gives way to the drivers in front before getting into someone's line on the rejoin. Actually, Porsche's got to take a bit of an evasive maneuver. I think that's all right though. No harm, no foul.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Cranston and his teammate, who I think was Velasquez, they were actually, I may have to look it up. There's a McLaren in V3 in the Team Series Championship.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was Cranston and Andrew, or Andreo. I'm so struggling with names here, forgive me. But they're P3 in the championship.
Okay.
And this race has not been going, well, it hasn't been going for one of the McLaren teammates.
Yeah, Velasquez up there is looking pretty fine there in P3, just behind Funk. We're coming up on to 31 minutes. This is about halfway.
Well, Andrew in that team is in P9 currently, so I don't know if he's pit yet or not. So that's not a bad collection of points.
No, certainly not, especially for week 2.
Yeah, Cranston's back in P17, but which isn't terrible for point collection either.
To the question, what's the purple lap? The purple lap right now is a 42.052.
That was set by Riviera there. Pretty early on in the stint, so now on lesser fuel, and once he gets these tires changed, that'll probably come right back down. I don't imagine that's long for this world.
No. He hasn't pit yet, and it shows his last lap was a 42.38.
Oh my gosh, so there's 0.3 of fall off. They're out of stints is nuts. He's got that McLaren dialed.
Yeah, he might, correct me if I'm wrong, is there refueling allowed or?
No refueling, yeah, so you have to run the max fuel, near about 100 liters for most cars.
So he's just gonna be faster.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets deep into the 41s when he puts on this fresh set of shoes.
41.2 might be a stretch. That was his qualifying lap. I think it was a 43, which he said for qualifying. So, but I don't know. He is in a really comfortable lead and he's dominating. So we might see him pull a Max Verstappen and just chill out, just save his tires and push at the end.
Okay, there we go.
Well,
I was curious when it was going to happen. There we see Riviera, our leader, and Funk both come into the pits at the same time. If they were looking for any sort of gap, any sort of differing strategies, they're not going to find it. They both come in right at about the 29-minute mark. Funk just now into his pit box.
Like Rivera did run a 40.9 in the hot lap leaderboards, so he does have it in him to get below that 41.
And especially when you are leading the race and you still haven't pitted, you'll be coming on lapped cars, and that's just going to slow you down. So just try to extend as much as possible. Sometimes is the best idea. And also you want to min-max your tire sets, so hitting around the 30-minute mark is the best strategy if you are not finding anyone and in comfortable, not even lead, just in a position.
Yeah, sure. I was monitoring the gap to the relative leader of the pitters. That's Rodriguez there, P19. Riviere is going to come out well ahead. I mean, he's already back on track. So he's still the leader. You know, overall, I think once he cycle out, obviously with an 8 seconds gap, it was pretty apparent that was going to happen. He comes up behind a bit of traffic, though. I think that's Mar. And as we see, actually, I think that was Yarn in the 458 or 488, getting off into the sand to the left there. Exit stage left. Not liking those curves or something. That's unfortunate. Riviera right at the back of Mar. Riviere's got the pace. Mar's got the position, though, for now. They go 2 by 2 into Piratella. He'll stick it around the outside.
He's like, I'm gonna just go past you, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Also note that he also has fresh sets of tires on. They may not be worn, but they're still much newer than whatever the Porsche has, which also appears to have wear and damage, which could affect the stability, especially in a car like the Porsche, which depends a lot on your rear.
Yeah, for sure. Riviera, though, putting on a clinic, showing you can hot lap with the best of them and still duke it out when it matters most. He'll have a bit of clean track now. He's just going to set hot laps so the others get their service done. So we're well and truly into the middle of this pit cycle. About 10 or so drivers either getting their service done now or yet to get their service done. Riviera already up to P6. Well ahead of Colton, who's the getting his, he's in the pits now.
I'm keeping an eye on Colton, and he actually comes out behind Goriel.
Yeah.
So it was actually, I think, if I remember, behind him, so the undercut did work.
Yeah, I mean, they were embroiled in that huge battle before the cycles, before everyone started to get their service done in the pits. So undercut working a treat there. Gets him a few positions.
DJ Watts is pitting. Wonder where he's gonna come out.
These gaps starting to open up a little bit while everyone sort of finds their new spot in the order. Just 5 drivers left to get their service done. Watts obviously in the pits right now, so he'll get that green check mark. Robbie Toddy's also in the pits, pitting from P5 in the Porsche. Should be getting near the end of this this pit window now, or the optimum pit window. 24 seconds left to go. I'd imagine these drivers looking to get their move done, maybe finding their gap in the relative and seeing where they end up.
Watts is rolling. It's gonna be close, as he gets jumped by Goriel, and he also gets jumped by Colton and Kaczmarczyk and Suave. So the Bentley losing a lot of positions in pits.
Oh man, there's a BMW back behind there going too wide. I think that was for position.
Logain and Red had him in the pit. Like Logain got around Red.
That was a good move.
They're doing some 2x2. Yeah, quite nice. He did a good job. Red doesn't look like he's quite ready to give it up yet. He's still chasing him, so we'll see what happens there.
Leska's gonna stay at another lap. Liking these tires, I guess, where they're at now. He's gonna opt to keep him out. It'll leave him just as the last one yet to pit. As Yarn and Briggs both come in now. One thing to note, we mentioned track limits earlier. I haven't seen any penalties come through yet. It's easy enough to go a bit wide. You know, you only get 3 tries before the 4th one you get your drive-through.
So I wonder who you just cursed right now.
Yeah, it's fair. Commentator's curse is in full effect right now. If there ever was a curse, it'd be now.
Yeah.
D1,
Worst
we
thing
saw a whole host of penalties. People were getting disqualified and, you know, stop-go 30s from pitting and, you know, cutting the track. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that out of these drivers. D3's always been pretty clean, though. I would say...
They have been. It's probably the messiest start they've ever had.
Yeah, right? I mean, we saw a bit of bumping.
There's a battle going on for P25 between Elliot Levine and Connor BK. They are...
Yeah.
They were actually going too wide going into turn at the start of his lap.
It's not bad.
Yep. Yeah, it looks like BK fell behind through that though, because they're now. He lost some time.
Bit of argy-bargy coming out the pits between Riggs and Yarin. Yarin kind of bumps Riggs out the way to get that position. He came into the pits in front of Riggs, so I guess he's going to keep that position.
Imagine
Riggs
if they
won't be happy
stayed.
about that.
Not too much for sure.
Imagine if they stayed in each other and they were just driving in each other, and they'd just be vulnerable.
I've seen that before too. It's hard to keep around the track, you know, when you ever do pop out of, I guess, clipping. Chaos is sure to ensue, but that'd be pretty funny.
I think the clipping bug has been fixed. I remember when Red Bull GT2s came out, if you were inside another car, you just explode as you come out
Oh,
of the pit.
man.
That is fixed.
Thank goodness. Imagine that's how you're racing. Something absurd as that.
So, unethical race hacks. If you don't want to get hit, just stay inside another car.
Here you go. Invulnerable. So everyone's now got their pit done. That'll give Velasquez doesn't yet to pit. My bad. So Riviere still our relative leader after they get their cycles done. Velasquez staying right out. 40-minute old tires now. Going for the mega overcut. Have all sorts of pace by the time he actually puts these fresh tires on, as he's about to do just now.
Like Sutherland's making a move on McKechnie.
They're too wide going into the Tamburello chicane. Oh,
Both of them pitted on the same lap, so neither has a tire advantage on each other.
one sure has the track advantage though now as McKechnie goes a bit wide.
Yep, and looks like Andrew slips by all of that.
That's Rife. Rife crashed at the... Well, he crashed early into the race and unfortunately wide going to Bowen chicane. Yeah. Yes.
He had all sorts of damage and probably wouldn't even get it back to the pits if he tried, so sad to see him leave. We're down to a total of 36 drivers. Still a pretty full grid for T3 tonight.
Oh, can I say that Placinia Riviera is in the 41s?
Did he finally do it?
He's in the 41s. He's at a 41.7.
That's not very shocking. He's cooking. But look at him go. Yeah, well done for him. Setting blistering lap times ahead now on those fresh tires and lightened fuel. What's he got? A still 8-second gap to Funk.
He's in the lead now.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. The closing speed in the Lexus is
it's absurd. You can see the gap behind just leaves the Mustang in the dust and gets right up to the back of the Porsche. Manages to get it rode down in time. Can't go get the move done this time around though.
Yeah, I drove the Lexus for MCM in Nordschleife. I was overtaking everyone in the start in the back straight.
Not
They
bad.
could not do anything.
Yeah, through the rest of the track it'd be a bit of a chore, but gosh, it would be fun just to rifle past people on the straightaways.
Well, thankfully the 992 is so much better in the straights compared to the 991 Porsches. So
yeah, it's not much of a deficit as much as it once was, we'll say.
Ashton Lovick actually has he can actually hang on to his place.
So now I can say everyone has pitted as Velasquez got his service and he comes out P3, still the leader of the silver division by 6 odd seconds from Rodriguez, and obviously Riviera up front by 8 seconds in front of Funk. 32 seconds was the optimal pit time, and pretty much everyone nailed it. Some looks like towards the back of the field is getting there some damage served. And so our biggest movers of the race, Rodriguez there in P4, he's up 9 positions. Easily the biggest mover up towards the front here. Curtis Lee, double digits, up 10 spots in the Bentley, making moves out there. He's up to P20. It's a good showing out for him. As we see, I think it was Laz. Yeah, Laz in the Mustang. He actually just took away the personal best time, the purple lap time of the session from Riviera. He's got a 41.407. He's quick in that Mustang, that's for sure.
He is, and I've seen him making a few moves back there over on people, so I'm not sure why he ended up back in the back there, but he might move up quite a few before this is all said and done.
Yeah, now he's all in traffic. He's not going to be able to set that kind of lap times anymore. It's good enough to get him up to where he's at. See if he can make a move on Sullivan in front.
It is going to be difficult to get past Sullivan, because he's also in a Mustang, and the Mustang is super fast in straight line.
Definitely.
That said, he doesn't even need to pass in a straight because they're about to go. They're going. Okay, he didn't sit into Variante Alta. I was kind of expecting him to by the closing gap. But how fast is closing?
Oh no, I popped on board with Watch just as he goes wide out of turn 2 in the Tamburello chicane. He's going to lose all sorts of positions. He was right up the back of the Mustang in front of him. Suave, and it looks like he'll lose, I think, about 3 positions. Not too bad, all things considered, but he'll want that one back for sure.
But that gives Suave some breathing room to really ride up Colton now without worrying about what's behind him.
He'll appreciate that.
Yeah. Colton won't, but he will.
Colton's still having a bit of connection issues as he's blinking all across. I can imagine trying to follow that through some of these corners. It's gotta be tough.
That does make it a little scary, yeah. It's a little disconcerting when the guy you're following he goes in and out.
Sutherland's trying a move on the outside of Aqua Minerale on Justin McKechnie. He goes for a bit of the crossover. McKechnie's defending to the inside. That's going to leave... Actually, Sutherland decides to not go on the inside of the spot that was given him. He sticks to dive to the inside. The space isn't left.
I think this is like the 5th or 6th time they were too wide going into Variante Alta.
My word.
They've been battling since Green Flag. They went into the pits together. They came out of the pits together. They've just been battling against each other for the whole race.
Well, it's fun racing, you know. That's kind of the beauty of SRA. It's such a competitive grid that no matter where you're at in the field, you can find your battle. It's just unfortunate that you'd want to be maybe battling some different cars. I bet Sutherland can draw the back of that Aston Martin from memory at this point.
The Astons we are in it's a nice car to look at.
It's not a bad view, admittedly, you know.
Colton lost a few spots. Gotta figure out what happened there. Oh,
it just goes wide.
Yep.
It's easy to do around here.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end of the race when you're starting to get a bit worn out with all the battles, you just start making mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had a lot of pressure on him for a long time there too, so.
The pressure setting in, the sweat's dribbling down your face. You're trying to wipe it away, but around Imola, there's really no straightaway to do it.
No.
Just have to tough it out. And I mean, we're near about 50 minutes into this race. There's still all kinds of action going on there as we see Red going for an outside maneuver on the entry to Aqua Minerale. BMW has Lavlogan got a bit compromised on the curbing on the outside of Piratella. That's how you say it. Yep.
There we go.
But yeah, unbelievably good racing from them. Sutherland still off all of the back of McKechnie. As McKechnie gets actually a bit wide through the last corner, he's not going to have the run going down the front stretch. BMW is going to take the inside line and take that position. It was a good opportunistic move, you know, following behind someone that close for so long. That's going to open the door for moves like that. It just takes one mistake. That'll move him up to P14.
Yeah, these guys have been battling since green as well. And this was the longest train in the front. As Nate Andrew goes wide.
No. I just switched away from
See
it.
what happens there.
Let me grab that. Oh, the curbs. No way. Manages to keep it out the wall.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is. Going over the curbs, especially in Roman chicane, is a game of roulette.
Yeah, it is RNG typically. You're good to hit him 59 out of 60 times, you know, but there's always that one time it'll send you sideways, and there's just no catching it.
Yeah, I still haven't figured out the optimum way. Like, I try to slide over the curbs. Sometimes it works, sometimes I go upside down.
Yeah, right. I was finding that on heavy fuel, you can pretty well straddle the curbs in the Porsche and have really no ill effects from it. But then you're also risking a track cut if you just cut a bit too much to the inside of the first curve of that Villeneuve chicane. Which, if you're being a bit more sensible, you stick to the outside a bit more if you don't straddle it as much. But sometimes you also just get bumped off and thrown sideways for no reason. And it's not easy. Imola's a tricky course, but we're seeing these drivers navigate it, you know, to perfection. Especially Riviere up there. He's pulled out a 10-second gap to Funk behind him.
Yeah, Imola is one of the more technical tracks in ACC.
Yeah, and you'll get that from some of these older circuits. We talked about Imola's, you know, famed past. It's one of the historic tracks of F1. It's been a sort of hallmark event for any sort of sports car series as they get to it. Here in ACC, it's a popular one just due to the nature of it. You know, its technical abilities, and with the chicanes, it's always a new battle every single lap. Heck of a train formed up here now for what is a battle for P7. Just had too much fun watching those cars go through all the curbs. Everyone had a bit of a different line. Porsche taking a bit more humble across the curbs. Smart move though.
Got close to the Mustang.
Did you watch that one? Rodriguez all over the back of the BMW there of Goriel. BMW's got the speed though, got the horsepower. Rodriguez gonna look to the inside. The space is left on the inside. They go 2 by 2. BMW gets a bit loose on the inside corners. Ferrari's gonna take this. Yeah, that's how you do it. Textbook maneuver. Gets the overlap on the entry. Under braking is a bit later. Respectful driving from the BMW to leave him the space, and yeah, Ferrari's gonna move up now to the leader of the Silver Division. Or sorry, no, take that back. P2 in the Silver Division. That's Rodriguez in the Ferrari. These silver drivers are quick.
A big battle from like P7 down to P11. They're all just in line. Yes.
And honestly, battle up to them. Oh, never mind. They're Suave. Suave's got a 4.5 second gap. So, yeah, pretty much from P8 to, right about P11. It's just a big old train.
Bobby's working hard to keep Maxwell behind him. Meanwhile, you got Schwartzman, Colton, and Watts all right behind Maxwell also. Just everybody waiting for an opportunity to get another spot there.
As one of the Aaron brothers was facing the wrong way, I think he also got caught off by the RNG off the curb.
Yeah, just Ferrari things.
Yes, Ferrari things. So I was actually talking to some of the Ferrari drivers. Apparently it is advisable to run 60 millimeters of front right just to survive the curbs.
My word. Crank it right up.
Just crank it all the way up. Run like Nordschleife with ride height on Imola.
Yeah, I had a, you know, the one of our sponsors, Go Setups. They're known for their actually look at that.
Maxwell's out, and Colton.
No! Oh no!
That was the big trade we were seeing formed, and it all finally popped off.
Yeah, he tried to commit to a move on Suave because Schwartz was behind him. He could not risk any. He can't waste any more time, especially when you're in a Mustang. Just sent it, and it did not pay off.
It was a bit of a lunge. Ferrari left a bit of the space, but it was pretty tight on the exit of that first chicane, and Lexus the sympathy spin. That's tough. Maxwell is a big loser in that.
I think the pressure got on Maxwell because he can't fight. He can't keep up. He could barely keep up with the Mustang in a straight line, and there's the Mustang behind well with an advantage. There was a lot of pressure on him.
Oh no, as we see Sullivan, the teammate to Rife, who we saw go out in a very similar spot in the track, is also pointed towards the wall. Gets it back pointed forwards, takes out the brake marker. Hopefully no one was needing that. I think that exit road's the brake reference point for the Tosa chicane, so that's all right. But unfortunate for them.
Yeah, our first drive-through for track limits.
Is that it? Oh no.
Oh.
Who was that?
It's
Byron. No.
It's Byron.
It goes from bad to worse. He was P2 starting on the front road, or front row, and yeah.
He was tied for pole, but because he said his lap times after our Riviera's hit his, he was put in P2, but he was on the front row.
Yep. But just really had a rough start to the race. Pitted early. I mean, he was in the back of the pack when after all that mess in the beginning. He had made it up to, was it P15 there, and unfortunately this drive-through is going to hurt him.
Put him right back down the grid. Yeah, if there was an award for how many people we've passed, he's probably got that one on lock, but that's unfortunate for him.
It is, especially with, what, less than 5 minutes left in the race.
Yeah, there's not much recovering from that one.
No, unfortunately. That's a shame. He really had a promising outlook when we started.
But also, he can't really give up. He has to keep fighting. Because every point counts, even if you have dropped out.
Yeah, still decent points. I think he's going to come out the pits P26 after the drive-through, so not the points haul he'd want and not the points haul probably he deserved after that blistering qualifying, battle. But decent points, He'll take those, and at the very least it'll be a drop race if he performs as he should in the rest of the races.
Yep. But you always try to get as many points as you can, 'cause who knows what happens down the road.
That's right.
Michael Schwartz is on the rear diffuser off.
Grab that one. He's got this straight line speed in the Mustang, but he's battling another Mustang. They're toe to toe. Suave's gonna go super defensive on the inside. Just cover that off from ever being an option. Yeah.
Well, Gain tried to make a move on red and lost his base there too. At the same time.
Elliot Levine is Elliot Levine and Pat Cockcroft are going too wide with
the Ravazza the last two corners. Just poked his nose there. BMW's gonna cover him off from now.
There's so many battles to keep track of what's going on.
It's a lot, admittedly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But we are also 2 to 3 laps away from the checkered flag, so You might see a lot of spicy and aggressive moves just to get whatever place possible. It's all or nothing.
Now's the time. Yeah.
Now's the time.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I would almost expect more of that in the back where you don't have as much to lose, as opposed to, say, you've got Goriel and Petchtazovic in the front. You know, they're P5, P6.
Yeah, they'll look to come home with those points. They wouldn't want to do anything to hinder that. So actually, you see Sweeney and Marvin. They're off. They're both off in the kitty litter. Wonder what happened there. I'll grab that. Looks like Marvin gets a bit loose on the start of the Tamborilla chicane and then just clips the back end to Sweeney. Marvin does well to get the spot back, but yeah, it's tough. Pop back up here front.
This brings back to what I was saying early in the race. If you are going wide, you're gonna back the curve.
Definitely.
If you can't react, it's so difficult to react in that corner.
Yeah, you alluded to it. A minute and a half left to go. The leader no, he's sort of halfway through the track right now, so should be about 1.5 more laps to go. Riviere still putting on a clinic up front. He no longer has the fastest lap, right? But only by 3 thousandths of a second.
Still has. Yep. I'm gonna watch Riggs here trying to get his spot back from Yaren ever since they pulled out of that pit stop. It looks like they've been battling that out. So interesting to see if they're willing to take any risks in this last lap actually. Okay, lap or 2 laps?
1 lap to go. Riviere just across the start finish line.
Makes the move on Rodriguez and get that spot. It looks, I'm not sure what's going on up there.
Grab that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
They're still going at it, actually, going through Ravazza.
I see that. Look at that. It is spicy in this last bit.
Ferrari's had a bit of the overlap, but it's compromised exit. The Porsche, shockingly, with the top speed advantage over the Ferrari. BMW giving the Ferrari a bit of a tow. It's going to let the Ferrari have the advantage going into Tamborilla chicane. The late lunge by the Ferrari manages to get it slowed down in time. That's going to give the position to Goriel.
Riggs and Yaren looks like they went off. They had a little love tap there in that battle. Riggs was getting past them and tapped themselves.
It finally happened.
Bow.
Yeah,
yep.
We were seeing that pop off for a bit. And unfortunate end for those drivers.
Yep. So, they're back on. Yaren's behind Riggs now, but with so little left. Guessing they're just going to finish up that lap.
I saw Riviera goes across the final chicane. He has 2 more, or actually, is their final Kinzeri corner? I don't know. But
yeah.
What I do know is Riviera is about to take a decisive win.
He's got 14 seconds advantage. He's just going through that chicane. He was so gentle. Maybe he's on some like 3 track limits, but I mean, he's done it. He's done well enough to keep the position, no penalties, and he's come across the line. P1. Riviera is your winner overall.
P2 and 3 are going to be drag racing down.
That's
1/10 apart.
Funk and Velasquez. Velasquez got a bit of the overspeed, but Funk's going to stay ahead. That's still Velasquez is your P3 finisher in the silver division.
A really close finish.
P1 in silver, yeah, P3 overall.
Yeah.
They were a 10th. They were like, there's a 10th between them.
After 60 minutes of racing to come out to that is crazy.
Yep. That's intense.
Yes,
Logan and yeah. Yep.
Still popping off as you see Logan go for the move. Andrews 2 tenths behind McKechnie.
Yep.
Looks like McKechnie's giving them position. They finished super close to each other. Not sure what happened there. All right. There you go.
Yep. Finishing it out.
They come across the line side by side. I don't know who got that. I think it was Yaren. Just edges over Logan by 7 or hundredths of a second.
That is
amazing.
incredibly close. 7,900. That is actually closer than Funk and Velasquez.
Crazy.
But it's insane that we got two photo finishes in one race.
Right? D3 always delivers. It's funny how they do that.
I think all the devs deliver.
For sure. Unbelievable race here at Imola. That was a treat. I was happy to
Absolutely.
to put it on for you guys. That was a good time. Let's see if we can't get some of our winners for an interview. Obviously, Riviera. Want to talk to him. See if anyone want to pop in. Yeah, there he is. All right, we'll grab him.
Let's just yoink him from the chat.
That's right. I love this part. Surprise them whenever they get into the channel. Hello, Riviera. This is Landon, Steph, and Arjan in the booth. You got us?
Hey, how you doing?
Yo, congrats again. Another solid performance, and I mean this time about as commanding as you can be. P1 by 14 seconds. Pretty uneventful race for you, or how was it?
Yeah, I wasn't kidding around this time. No, it was still kind of nerve-wracking, especially on lap 1. Ian matched my pole time,
Right?
and he's super strong on sector 1. I think the best in the league. So I quote unquote, I needed to break DRS before the end of the first lap, but then I saw him go off, and I'm like, okay, I can breathe now, because you don't want that Mustang behind you in that straight.
Definitely not.
And then after that, just managing the pace. I kept tracked on Funk, trying to match his best, saving my tires. And then if anybody would do a fastest lap, I would try to respond and then keep it there. And then, yeah, after that, just trying to keep it on track.
Yes, I mean you did well. I was curious though. We were on board that last lap. You were going pretty conservative through the chicanes. Were you on some track cuts?
No, I had a track cut about halfway when the guy that got the fastest lap, I tried to chase it because I was minus 40 on that lap, and then I messed up. And then on the last lap, I was like, let's go for it. And as soon as I got the track cut, I laid off the gas.
Dialed it back. Just bring home the win. There's no point. Yeah, fair enough. You lost fastest lap. Yeah, I guess you saw it was 4/100ths of a second.
Oh, I didn't know how much was it. I knew I got a 41.4, and I'm like, still not. I'm like, what's going on?
His was a 40.407. So yeah, it was about as close as that gets.
It was 4,000ths of a second. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
But anyways, it's still a demanding finish. You even did a few passing there. I mean, coming out the pits, you had to put on some moves. So you got it all. You can do the hot laps, and you can race side by side with the best of them here in D3. So well done.
Thank you.
Any shout outs you want to give while we got you here?
I don't know. I got my friends from Mexico watching, so shout out to Bale and Nala and all those people, and I'll see you next week.
There you go. Shout out to them.
All right.
Well, hey, congratulations. You're looking pretty good for this season here. A formidable foe, to be sure. People got to watch out for you. Well done on tonight's race.
Thank you, guys. See you around.
Later.
Yep.
Yeah.
What are the odds that he gets moved up? Oh,
I would say pretty likely at the end of this one, because my word, he's quick. One person I know for sure is gonna get moved up is Rodriguez there. He's Velasquez there in the silver division. Not looking like very much a silver driver as he's quick. Let's see if we can't grab him in. Where did he go? Okay, never mind. I can't quite seem to find him. So we'll scratch that. I think that's the second week in a row. And that's okay.
Maybe he doesn't Discord while he's racing. I know some of the guys don't like to, they find it distracting.
Right.
Maybe it's late by the time they're done and
it's understandable.
And hop on off.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with so much battling going on, you want to stay focused as much as possible. Well, for some of us, just talking helps us keep our head straight.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think I'm definitely one of those. I need to talk to keep my head straight.
Who else?
Yeah, when I did D2 last season, it was just me just trash talking, making it look like a Call of Duty lobby in the chat.
Love
And
that.
then if anyone's seen how my last season, I get trash talk back. But sometimes just talking helps. Just keep your head focused on the race.
For sure.
It keeps the nerves down, you know. You don't get like sometimes you get the nerves just ruin your driving. You start twitching and missing braking points or braking too much or just all kinds of mistakes because you're all nervous, and that trash talking kind of just loosens it up and
Makes it fun,
they
right?
dissipate. Yeah, and then you get a little bit like, you know, just a little bit more calm and less serious about it. Anybody else we're gonna grab?
I can't seem to find our top finishers for the division, but Nico Suave, he was in that Mustang, pretty much leading that train for the longest time. I thought about getting him up here, see what he thought about all
Why
that.
not?
Yeah,
They're all hiding from us.
that's
It sounds
right. Nico, this is Landon, Steph, and Arjun in the booth. You got us?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, what's up, man? How was that race for you? You guys were in a battle pretty much the entire time, right?
Yeah, it seemed like it. It seemed like a big train there from about third on back to maybe 10th or so. So yeah, it was tough racing.
How did you manage to stay ahead through all of that? You were leading it for some, you know, putting on the defensive moves whenever someone would get the bright idea to get alongside you.
I feel like I did a lot more defending than attacking. I think my attacking or my positions gained were more opportunities from mistakes, but yeah, I had a few mistakes in the pit and gave it all back.
Oh man, well that's Imola for you.
Aw.
Yeah, tough. Still getting used to the limiter for some reason, but you know, I had the drive through last week, or not the drive through, the stop and go 30 for speeding entering, and overcorrected this week, was a little too timid coming in, and then yeah, missed starting the car when the jacks dropped. It was just not a fun time.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, things to clean up, you know, and if you're this quick with you know some of those mistakes you mentioned, I can't imagine when you put it all together. Looking for good things from you in that Mustang. How are you liking it?
It's tough. I've gotten used to over the past couple seasons driving the M4, and this is definitely a lot more of a handful. This track in particular, it seemed like some of those like hairpins or sharper corners, it was really tough to get the power down. So I can't remember the corner name, but the hairpin, left-handed hairpin going up the hill, it's real tough to get the power down in the Mustang. It seems like, I don't know, it's just between gears or something. So.
Yeah, definitely. It's not easy out there in a big car like that to navigate it around this tight corner or tight circuit of Imola. But you did well.
The curbs though.
Oh my gosh, you monster right over those, especially those last chicanes in Variant Alta. It was funny to watch all the different lines as we see the Porsches go a bit more timid around the curbs because they really can't take them, but the Mustangs and the BMWs just monster right over them like they don't even exist.
Yeah, for sure. But shout out to all the guys I was raced around, like Maxwell and Watts and Colton. All those guys put up a tough defense, and it was fun to race them, and they all kept it clean. So much appreciated.
Yeah, for sure. That's what you want to see. Putting on a show out there,
especially towards the end when we're all just on each other's bumpers, getting super racy. You did well dealing with that pressure from was it Maxwell in the Porsche?
Yeah, I felt bad that he sent it a little bit, and I thought I gave him space, but yeah, it just bounced right off the driver door, and I think he had a little bit of a spin and lost some places, but it was a fun battle otherwise.
Definitely. Well, I'm excited to see you as you progress through the season here, get more comfortable in that Mustang, and you know, put together a nice clean race. You're going to be right up there with the best of them here in D3.
Go chasing my first SRA win. We'll see what happens.
There you go. Can't wait for it. We'll let you get back to it. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Cool beans. I think that's about it for the interviews. But my gosh, what a fun race that was. Imola, it's always kind of a shot in the dark whether you're going to have more of a parade or a battle like we saw tonight with that massive train forming and still people able to make some moves. It was a good time.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was a spicy race.
Definitely.
And I think the next race next week is going to be even better because Suzuka's has a straight 130R. You have to start finish straight, so you're gonna see a lot of racing there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Suzuka's one of my favorites. I can't wait to get out on track and duke it out with these drivers in SRA.
Yeah, I still remember the last time we did Suzuka. I think, Landon, you started in front of me and you were taken out.
Yeah.
And I nearly got taken out with you.
It was carnage.
It was a carnage, and racing was also amazing just by just fact that you can run in trains. You have 2 long consecutive straightaways, so Suzuka is a track which is going to be super fun to race.
Yeah.
Super fun to watch, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah, same here. Can't wait to see you guys back out there next week, and all of our viewers. Thanks for tuning in to the stream as always. It's always a pleasure to put this on for you. And as well, thanks to our sponsors. See that segue? But a huge thank you to our SRA sponsors and title sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as support from DocuWise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to DocuWise.com to learn more today. And support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favorite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. And a big thank you to our affiliates, Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to support us. And Armenterio, a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. An AT3D Sim Shop. Upgrade your sim racing experience with premium 3D printed accessories featuring precision crafted magnetic shifters, sleek cable management solutions, versatile Steam Deck mounts, and immersive dashboard displays. Their innovative designs enhance performance and style. Elevate every lap with top tier quality and craftsmanship at at3d.net. And Go Setups, of course, the premium esports setup for everyone. Use our affiliate link in our Discord and you can take your drive to the next level. And finally, from Castle and Cauldron, a home-based crafting business specializing in handmade Harry Potter, Fantastic Beast, and Fairy World collectibles, magic wands, potions, mini dioramas, wall decor, costumery, cosplay, and much more. Castle and Cauldron is where crafting meets the magical. Visit facebook.com/Castle Cauldron to learn more. And thank you to Steph and Arjun for hopping into the booth tonight, dealing with my growing pains as we learned how to host one of these races, but it was a good time. Appreciate you as always.
Of course, I kind of felt a little out of place not doing my normal job. I wasn't sure what to do with myself.
We got through it, and we learned a lot more for it. I think we're better for it. And Arjun, excited to have you in the booth now.
Thanks. Yeah, this is the first first time commentating for an SRA race if you don't count the open boot in the 12 hours of Bathurst. But thanks for having me here.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Excited to see more as we go through this season together. Speaking of, we'll see you next week.